It's your boy Jeremy here, and I'm here to talk about slaves. Well, the history of slaves. But before we do that, we gotta have a little more serious background music. Okay, much better. It's time to get serious now. From 1525 to 1866, 12.5 million Africans were taken from the homeland to cross this ocean called the Atlantic Ocean. It was a journey that about 2 million of them wouldn't survive. Some historians estimate 6 to 7 million slaves were imported to the New World in the 18th century alone. They steal the African continent's healthiest men and women. Wow. Slavery in America began in 1619 and ended in year 1900. A privateer known as the White Lion brought 20 African slaves to Jamestown, Virginia. In the 17th century, European settlers in the North American continent turned to African slaves as a cheaper and more plentiful workers. Wow. For the 17th and 18th century of plantation life, slaves worked mainly on tobacco, rice, and indigo plantation of the southern coast in colonies of Maryland and, you guessed it, Virginia. Where did the background music go? Much better. In the late 18th century, the land that used to grow tobacco nearly tired out. The South faced an economic crisis. Roughly the same time, England had a huge demand for American cotton. Therefore, let's cotton gin. Slavery wasn't really a thing in the North, but oh yeah, it was in the South. Slaves in the South was about 1/3 of the Southern population. Slaves were prohibited to learn how to read or write. Their behavior and movement, oh yeah, it was limited. Many slave owners took sexual liberties with slave women, rewarding obedient slave behavior, while the rebellious ones, they got brutally punished. Slave rebellions did occur, but only a few were successful. The slave revolt led by Nat Turner was feared among slave owners. His group in 1831 had 75 Africans and murdered around 60 whites. Now that's insane. Many slaves fled to the north and to Canada, which is even more north. They would find all sorts of ways to escape, which eventually led to the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. The abolitionist movement, a movement led to abolish slavery in America. It was led by a free black, Frederick Douglass, and white supporters, William Lloyd Garrison and Harriet, who published the anti-slavery novel, you guessed it, Uncle Tom's Cabin. free blacks and other anti-slavery northerners had now helped slaves escape from the South, the Underground Railroad, and other things. Harriet Tubman guided escaped slaves on their journey to the North. Then there was the Missouri Compromise. Well, Missouri is a slave state, and Maine is free. Oh, come on, what's with the background music keep disappearing? Looks like we're going with this one again. But yeah, like I was saying, there was that line across America determining which will be free and which will be a slave state. Slavery ended in the year 1900. But it still wasn't perfect yet. But you know, I'm not gonna talk about that. I've pretty much covered everything. But I didn't really cover everything. I covered most of the stuff. Well, your boy's done. Peace.